Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys predicted to cut ties with $40 million playmaker in offseason. Over the last decade or so, Cowboys receiver Brandon Cooks has established himself as a consistent threat wherever he's been. He never quite cracked the realm of elite NFL receivers, but in 5 stops around the league, he racked up 6 1,000-yard seasons in 11 years in the league. He spent the last 2 with the Cowboys, who acquired him in a trade for a 5th-round pick in 2023 and a 6th-rounder in 2024, and proved to be well worth that piddling price. He proved to be a solid counterpoint to CeeDee Lamb in 2023, catching 54 passes for 657 yards and 8 touchdowns. But in 2024, Cook struggled with a knee injury, and caught just 26 passes for 259 yards. Now, he's hitting free agency, and with the Cowboys looking to rebuild their receiving room going forward, Cooks is likely to land elsewhere. In fact, at the Cowboys site, Blogging the Boys, the consensus is that Cooks will not only leave, but will join the hated rival Commanders and former Dallas defensive coordinator Dan Quinn on a projected 2-year, $18 million contract. Cooks is 32, and with the Cowboys likely to find a playmaker in the draft, there just is no room for him in Dallas. With CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo, and Jalen Brooks all under contract next season, it seems likely the Cowboys will spend a high draft pick on a young receiver and let the veteran Cooks walk in free agency. The trade for Brandon Cooks was still one of Dallas' best offseason moves of the last decade, but it seems likely his time in Dallas has come to an end. Cowboys could swing big on a draft receiver. The Cowboys could not only look to the draft for an answer at receiver, they could look to the first round. It's unlikely that projected top wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan from Arizona would be available when Dallas picks number 12, but the Cowboys would be in range for a player like Luther Burden from Missouri or Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. If not one of those 3, the Cowboys could well wait until the 2nd round to take a receiver. It's also possible that Dallas could address the spot in free agency, but the class of players available is not very enticing and the Cowboys don't want to spend. Additionally, despite speculation they could get in on a trade for disgruntled Dolphin star Tyreek Hill, that is a long shot. Cowboys linked to possible reunion with $100 million Pro Bowl wide receiver. The Dallas Cowboys spent huge last offseason on quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, and they are expected to do something similar with edge rusher Micah Parsons when the time comes. Meanwhile, owner Jerry Jones just denied a request from the Chicago Bears to interview head coach Mike McCarthy, which is a strong indicator he's coming back in 2025 on a new deal as well. All of this is to say the Cowboys appear ready to run it back, so a reunion with a former member of the group who has been successful elsewhere over the past couple of years doesn't seem like much of a stretch. Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report must have thought the same thing when he put together his list of the top 50 free agents heading into the offseason. Buffalo Bills wideout Amari Cooper, formerly of the Cowboys, came in at number 11 on the list, and Knox named Dallas as one of the top potential suitors for his services. A return to Dallas could also make some sense, Knox wrote on Wednesday, January 8. The Cowboys don't have a young signal caller, but they need a legitimate number 2 receiver opposite CeeDee Lamb. Dallas signed Cooper to a 5-year, $100 million contract in March 2020. He played 2 seasons after that before Jones shipped him to the Cleveland Browns. Cooper averaged 1,205 yards and 7 touchdowns across 2 years in Cleveland and earned Pro Bowl honors in 2023 before the Browns sent him to the Buffalo Bills ahead of the November trade deadline. His numbers were down in 2024, though he missed 3 games, switched teams, and played with a nightmarish Browns offense for the first half of the year. And on the plus side for potential buyers, Cooper's salary demands are likely to drop in 2025 just like his production did last year. Cooper knows the score with the Cowboys and has familiarity with Prescott, which makes him a reasonable fit at the right price entering his age, 31 season. New York Jets may have just revealed Mike McCarthy's fate with the Cowboys. It is only the third day of the Dallas Cowboys offseason and gray hairs have already started blooming. If the Mike McCarthy saga is any indication for how this offseason will unfold, Cowboys fans might be driven to pure and unadulterated apathy by July. If not for the Chicago Bears, who put in a request to speak with McCarthy about their head coach vacancy, we might still be in the dark regarding McCarthy's future. It took Jerry Jones some 24 hours to get back to the NFC North bottom feeders. After previously giving McCarthy jurisdiction to speak with any team, Jones denied the Bears' request. Everyone now thinks McCarthy will be back, though that certainly isn't official by just denying Chicago permission. It could be a crude way of keeping McCarthy on ice for another week. Anything and everything is possible with this front office, but it stands to reason that both sides are trying to negotiate a new contract. If you're in denial about McCarthy's potential return, the New York Jets may have revealed the 61-year-old's fate with Dallas. The Jets have assembled a monstrous list of head coach candidates. If you think of someone, odds are New York has requested an interview. Despite that, they have not requested to speak with McCarthy, per Diana Rossini of The Athletic. Your initial reaction might be to slander McCarthy. The Jets' interview list could populate a small island. It must sting for them to tell McCarthy they're not interested, right? Well, McCarthy would actually be a great hire for New York. His ability to work with an intrusive owner like Jerry Jones means he could succeed next to Jets owner Woody Johnson, who can't help but inject himself into prominent football decisions. Sound familiar? The Jets also have a talented roster. They need an experienced coach who knows how to cultivate a winning culture. While McCarthy's playoff record is spotty, he is the definition of a floor-raising coach. He might be the best fit for the Jets of the names that have been reported. New York would be crazy not to interview McCarthy. The Jets have not made the playoffs in 14 years. McCarthy has a Super Bowl and made the playoffs in 12 of 18 seasons as a head coach. If that team, who is interviewing literally everyone, isn't interviewing McCarthy, they probably know he isn't going anywhere. That is the only explanation for New York snubbing McCarthy.